Here is the abandoned train tunnel in Clinton, Mass. It's winter time, there's a lot of ice on the entrance of it, but as soon as we get in, it should get a lot warmer. Yeah, take a look at that. The entire ceiling is made out of concrete. I heard up the first few hundred feet of the tunnel. Just look at these big icicles hanging on the walls that are coming out of holes. Look at that in there. You can see that is a piece of tree. A tree broke these holes, the roots. And the floor in here is gravel. There's a lot of dripping in here from the snow melting. Big pile of ice. A lot of ice on the floor here. Huge icicle there. I'm gonna turn on some more lights as I go. Okay, I just turned on my camera flash. Now that makes it better. Slightly. Look at that. There's spray paint right on top of the ice. Someone was in here making graffiti very recently. From other videos I've seen of this is actually kind of nice, some of the drawings in here. There are spray cans absolutely everywhere. 2, 3, 4, hundreds of them. And it is kind of cool, the echoing in here. Woo! This tunnel, I heard, as you get further in this tunnel, the end of it seems to get further away. And right now, I'm like sinking into the gravel. You gotta be kind of careful in here. There's patches of ice, patches of mud. Here's another spray can. Yeah, hundreds of spray cans in here. Okay, and it's gonna get even darker now. I've reached the end of the concrete. Now it is just stone in the mountain. See where it ends up there? Stone. There, they stopped it after maybe, that's a couple hundred feet at least to the end of the. And as we go further, you can see these big rocks along the sides that have fallen from the ceiling over the years. Look at that big icicle hanging off. And as I'm walking, I'm being dripped on. On my way back through the tunnel, I'm going to make a video of just drawings on the walls. This is cool coming through here in the winter. All the other videos I've watched of this, they were all done in the summertime. None of this ice. Okay, this is what it looks like without my lights. Can't really see much. I'm being very careful where I step because there's uneven patches of ice. There's these big humps everywhere. If I knew about this, it would have been good to bring ice cleats. Look at that big icicle that fell off the ceiling. They're everywhere. The reason there's ice everywhere because yesterday it was about 60 degrees out and it made everything on the surface start to melt. I'm looking up at the ceiling now. There are no icicles directly above me. They've all fallen down. But there's pretty big ones on the sides. Most of the ice is on the sides because that's where the drainage would have been. Take a look at this big icicle that fell from the ceiling. There's another one. huge. I'm standing here, and that is at least, I'd say, 8-10 feet tall. Look at that huge icicle. Now, there's a lot of ice on the floor here. Look at this big chunks of ice. Yeah, that must have formed where it's dripping. This piece is massive. Look compared to my foot. If you listen carefully, you can hear all kinds of dripping. I say I'm about halfway through the tunnel now. You see the icicle to the left? It's not showing up too great on the camera, but it is reflecting light from the ends. Here's like a little stream of melting. Hey, look at this. There's a railroad tie left over. It is dripping a lot here. Up there, it's like a full stream coming down. And you see it everywhere now, it's just uneven ice. Gotta walk really slowly in here. And the worst thing is this ice is all wet. Okay, here's another big patch of ice. Off to the side, there's some rocks to grip on. I'm within 100 feet of the end of it. Yep, and just like in everyone else's video, the end of it is completely flooded out. And there's a second arch down there where the street is. I think that's a street, I'm not sure. Somebody here has made a trail of rocks to walk along to get out of here, which I'm taking right now. Here's a cone. This end of the tunnel, unlike the other end, it's maybe 15 feet, 20 feet of concrete. Not as much as the other end. Okay, I'm out of it. I'm gonna walk down to that next arch. Okay, there's the train tunnel that I just came out of. You see how big it is? And I'm zooming up into the mountain, how high that rock is. Okay, now I'm down here at that little tunnel going up with the road over it. Someone threw a refrigerator down here. There's a lot of bottles down here. People must be partying in these tunnels. This one here, because that's just the road up there. People are dumping down here. This is the smaller tunnel. I'm just gonna walk through this. And these used to be the train tracks years ago. This tunnel was made to ship water out east when there was a water shortage in the early 1900s. They built this to be able to take water from the reservoir, which I'll show at the end of the video. This is the old train line. It's all grown in with trees and it's full of mud. It became more of a runoff area now. Here is this, and there's the big tunnel at the end, and you can see all the way through it. Here's a propane tank. There's a lot of trash here. It must blow down from the roadway. Somebody should come clean all this stuff up. It wouldn't be a bad idea. Now I'm gonna walk back through the tunnel and I'm gonna show the reservoir at the end, and I'm gonna show some other things, old relics of the railway. I'm gonna post a separate video showing just all the graffiti on the wall. Some of it is actually nice, and some of it's creative. Other pieces of it are just profanity. I'm gonna try not to show that stuff, but can start walking backwards now. Making my way back to the tunnel. Here's some remnants of old ties that were left behind. There's a second one. There's a third one all off to the sides. Here is the tunnel. The tunnel is about 1,200 feet long. It took me about really only 5 minutes to walk through it. Today is winter time. Yesterday there was a big thaw. About 8 inches of snow was on the ground. It melted. Then last night it got back into the 20s. It froze. The entire tunnel's full of ice. It actually looks awesome. Okay, making my way back inside the tunnel from the far end. Getting my lights on. This end is flooded out. I gotta walk along the edge where the rocks are that somebody added. Every footstep you make in here, it echoes like crazy through this thing. Okay. This is just mountain. Look at the rock all over. Here we have a lot of water dripping from the ceiling, making all this ice in the train tunnel. Imagine back in the day when they had trains coming in here, they must have had people all the time freeing the train tracks for the train wouldn't derail on this stuff unless they ran trains that often where it couldn't form. really icy floor in here. Okay, I'm all done at the tunnel. Now I'm gonna go show the reservoir and where the trestle would have been. So, back in the day, when the trains come through this tunnel through the mountain, they'd come out here. Just look at all the ice here. There's a lot of footprints. You can tell a lot of people walked through here when there was snow on the ground. But you come out of the tunnel, you walk up here, and this is where the trestle would have been. It would have gone right over the street. And you see down there in the river, there's a bunch of pilings down there where the bridge supports would have been. It would have gone right through to this clear cut in the mountain. This is where the train would have gone through. So you could tell it is a massive trestle. It would have been a massive trestle. It would have been hundreds of feet high for it could be even right across. Because that is far down that river. There's the train tunnel. Now I'm gonna head over to the reservoir, which is right over here. You can kind of make out the outline, but I'm gonna make my way over there. Thanks for watching. There's a trail going up on top of the tunnel. The tunnel is right beneath me right now. There's right beneath it. And look at this. It goes right underneath somebody's house. Well, I'm gonna walk that back down the other side. It's too bad that everyone had to put this graffiti all over the bridge. Yeah, a few of them are creative, but most of this is just garbage writing, and it would look much better if this stuff wasn't there. But every abandoned building, everything I've ever gone near that's abandoned, you're always gonna see this stuff. Even out in the middle of nowhere, this stuff still happens. This is in a woodsy area and it's still covered in this stuff. I've been out train bridges in the middle of nowhere. Like you have to drive an hour without seeing a building. It's still out there. People bring spray cans everywhere. This is what the train tunnel looks like from the street. You go out to that platform where the bridge would have crossed over, and it would have crossed over the river too, up onto that hill. Here are the massive pilings where the bridge once sat on top of, and you can see them. There's another one down there in the woods, and they go all across the river. Now I'm gonna walk down there and get a closer look. This is the dam.